Vučitrn or Vushtrri is a city located in the northern part of Kosovo. The municipality of Vučitrn is the 9th largest in Kosovo by population, with a total of 69,870. The Vučitrn is surrounded with the city of Mitrovica in the north, Podujeva in the east, Obilić in the south, Glogovac in the southwest, and Skenderaj in the west. The municipality of Vučitrn has 67 villages. Vučitrn has been inhabited since the time of Illyrian Empire, when the people of the Kingdom of Dardania lived in the territory of Kosovo in the 4th century BC. The Illyrian name of Vučitrn was Vučtrri, which means the side of calves. When the Roman Empire invaded the Kingdom of Dardania in the 1st century BC, the Romans added the Latin suffix to the name of Vuštrri, and therefore it became Vuštrri. In Serbian language, Vučitrn is the name of the plant Ononis spinosa, which is abundant in the region. The main characteristic of the city is its cultural and historic monuments. The city's castle, stone bridge, public bath and sesma were built centuries ago and the biggest attractions of the city. The Vučitrn is an important economic center, mostly known as the biggest producer of potato in Kosovo. Known as the center of many factories and important companies of Kosovo, such as Vipa, Galvestil, Clam Kostbini and Berto. It has a total area of 345 square kilometers, and the density of population is 202 per square kilometers. This area covered by Vučitrn takes approximately 3.2% of the total territory of Kosovo. History. Prehistory and Roman period. The Dardani tribe ruled the region in the Iron Age, until the Roman conquest in the 1st century AD. The Roman town of Vuštrri lay in a wider area than Vučitrn today. The religion was polytheist and the main enterprises were farming and agriculture. The Romans developed road networks, 2 of whom crossed Vučtrri. These were the Nasus Lisis and a road that connected Bosnia with Skopje. Archaeological sites exist at various places, including Samodrexa, Giteta, Pestava, and Breglumi. Medieval. After the division of Roman Empire, Illyria was under the administration of the East Empire. During the early Middle Ages, the region was ruled by Slavists. In the first half of the 14th century, Vučitrn was a capital of the lands of Branković dynasty. Turad Branković, as despot, issued charters from Vučitrn. For that period there remain ruins of the Voljanovica Tower and a great stone bridge. After the Battle of Kosovo, Ottoman offices were stationed in Vučitrn. Ragusan colonies were established during the 14th and 15th centuries. In Ottoman documents, the town was known as Vushtrri, and it was established as the seat of the Sanjak of Vushtrri. The Sanjak was one of the more important European territories due to the high concentration of ore. It served as a larger military and commercial center until the fall of the Ottoman Empire. At the end of the 18th century, Vučitrn started to lose its importance because of the Austro-Hungarian Wars, migration, internal economic crisis and the development of other regional centers. From 1877 to 1913, Vučitrn was part of the Kosovo Vilayet of the Ottoman Empire. Vučitrn was important in the general rebellions of 1910 to 1912. Hasan Prishtina, an intellectual of the time, was a key part of the development of education and the economy in the Albanian territories. In 1912, the Serbian army liberated Vučitrn. On 10 August 1913, the Treaty of Bucharest made Vučitrn part of the Kingdom of Serbia. The 1920s were characterized by the rebels' activity, as Mbejta and Shotgalica were the main activists of the time. From 1929 to 1941, Vučitrn was part of the Mirava Banovina of the Kingdom of Yugoslavia. Geography. Vučitrn is located in the northeast of Kosovo, with a total area of 345 square kilometers. Its length size north to south is 34 kilometers and 23 kilometers from east to west. The municipality's borderline includes nearly 104.5 kilometers. The Vučitrn is surrounded by Mitrovica in the north, Podujeva in the east, Obilić in the south, Glogovac in the southwest, and Vuštrri in the west. The municipality of Vučitrn has 67 villages. This area covered by Vučitrn takes approximately 3.2% of the total territory of the Republic of Kosovo. The Vučitrn has a very favorable geographical position because it lies in the northern part of Vushtrri Kosovo, where ancient and medieval transport routes met, which had an important role in creating and developing the city and the region. The two most important ancient routes in Kosovo were the northeast to southwest Nasis Road and the northwest to southeast road that connected Bosnia and Macedonia. It is said that these two routes passed by Vučitrn and had an important influence in developing the region of Mitrovica. Today the Pristina-Mitrovica highway passes through Vučitrn and links the north region of Kosovo with the east and central part of the country. Topography in general, the territory of Vučitrn is hilly. The lowest point is 508 meters above sea level, near the place where the river Smekonica flows into the Vučtrri River. The highest point in the territory is 1,380 meters at the Mare's Peak, in the south of Bear village. The valley territories surround the Vučtrri River, which runs from north to south, reaching its maximum width before it merges with the Lapi River. The hilliest part of the municipality is mostly in the east and west sides. The mountains in Vučitrn are in the south part of Kopaonik and the east side of Kukavica. The Kukavica Mountains lie in the western side of the city, with the highest point of 1,091 meters. These mountains are a natural border between two big valleys, known as Vushtrri Kosovo and Vushtrri Drenesis. Waters. The biggest river flowing into Vučitrn is the Vučtrri. It is the second biggest natural basin river of Kosovo, after the Drini I Bardi. According to many years of hydrometrical observation, the Vučtrri flows at a rate of approximately 13.94 cubic meters per second, or 439.11 million cubic meters of water per year. The Vučtrri River gathers smaller rivers such as Lapi, Lumkuchi, Teztena, Barnja Igaitzes and some other water flows that comes from the east side of the Vučtrri mountain. The Vučtrri River is in the fourth category of pollution, a category which includes the most polluted rivers in Kosovo. Besides chemical pollution, Vučtrri River is also contaminated by KEDS's phenol, industrial and urban water. The Teztena River also flows through the city. Its spring is in the southwest of Kopaonik Mountains. The Vučitrn is provided with water from the Obilić hydro system. Around 84% of households residing in Vučitrn are connected to the public water provider, compared to Kosovo's average of 60% of households. The remaining households have access to safe drinking water through public taps, protected wells, and protected springs, while 4% use bottled water. 8% of households in Vučitrn do not have access to safe drinking water as they get it from tube wells or boreholes. Climate. Because of its geographical position, Kosovo has both a Mediterranean continental climate and European continental climate. Vučitrn has cold winters and hot summers. The city doesn't have a climate station with full data and observations of meteorological conditions, so the main information comes from the nearest stations in Mitrovica and Pristina. Vučitrn has approximately 2,140 hours of sun during the year. The highest average temperatures are in the months of July and August, while the lowest temperatures are in January. The annual average temperature is about 10.1 C. The annual average rate of air humidity is 77.2%. Average annual precipitation is about 646 mm. Natural resources. Vučitrn is rich in natural resources, especially minerals, wood and stone, especially in the areas below, dubo, magnesite and porcelain. Bivalak, želivod, bekuk, strok, glivota, wood, coal, pasum, terlobic, smekonis, dhe shale, exploitation of stone, gumnishte and boshlan, lead and zinc ore, binsky, thermal and mineral water, gelbashter and gojbul, mineral water, Karis, mineral sources. Demographics. Vučitrn is one of the oldest inhabited places in Kosovo. The area was located in the north part of Dardania. After the Roman invasion, the area was well organized economically and politically. Data about this settlement was given by a large number of historians, including the famous Ottoman traveler Evliya Çelebi. In his book of travels in 1662, he writes, Vučitrn was invaded in 792 by Gazi Hodavendika, who destroyed the fortress. The Vučitrn is the center of Sanjak of Vučitrn, depended by Yale of Rumelia. The residents of Vučitrn are a nation of Rumelia. They speak Albanian and Turkish. The municipality of Vučitrn has 67 villages. The total number of residents of the municipality is 69,870. Approximately 30,000 people live in urban areas, while 40,000 live in rural areas. The density of population is 202 people per square kilometer. According to the Kosovo Agency of Statistics, the number of children born in Vučitrn after 2005 is 6,504 babies. The Vučitrn has a young population, a high level of birth rate, and local, regional and external migration. Demographic data by municipality. Kosovo Agency of Statistics. In Vučitrn there are 11,866 households. 4,890 of them are located in urban zones, and 6,976 in rural areas. The average number of persons per household is 5.9 people. According to the statistics, in Vučitrn there are 13,740 buildings. The number of occupied houses is 11,650. Cultural heritage. Vučitrn has several historic monuments. Vuljanova's tower was built in the center of the old city, which remains in the city center. The old fortress in Vučitrn was built in the Justinian I period. It served as an inn during the medieval period as well as the Ottoman Empire. It has a surface area of 1,100 square meters, and the Pirgas has a surface area of 100 square meters. Its walls are 10 to 12 meters high and 3 to 4 meters thick. The Vuljanova's bridge was built between the late antiquity and early medieval periods. The building of the bridge is traditionally attributed to the Vuljanova's brothers, to whom is also attributed the nearby Vučitrn fortress, while its style places it at the end of the 14th or early 15th century. The bridge is located in the northwestern part of the old city. It is 135 meters long and 6 meters wide and has 9 arches. However, legends suggest it once had 12 arches, 3 of which were later covered. The stone bridge was built over the Sitnica River, but the river has since changed its course by several hundred meters to the west. The Hammond was built in the 15th century by Gazi Ali Beu. It is one of the oldest hammams in the Balkans, and was used until the Second World War. It served as a public bath for both men and women, who used the hammam on different days. These monuments are under state protection. Government. The mayor of the Vučitrn municipality is Budjetary Milaku, who is part of the Democratic Party of Kosovo. He was elected in the 2013 local elections for a third consecutive term. The municipality assembly consists of 35 members from 8 political parties, and its chairman is Shpetim Jagrova. The executive of the municipality consists of 12 departments. According to the 2014 to 2016 medium-term budgetary framework, the municipality of Vučitrn has planned a significant increase of its budget in the next 3 years, compared to 2013, when the municipality budget was about €12.6 million. In 2014 the budget was set at approximately €13.4 million. The central government grant was €11.7 million, while local revenue was €1.6 million. Performance of the public administration. 35% of Vučitrn respondents reported that they had visited the municipal office during the previous 12 months to request a document or a service. A slightly higher proportion than Kosovo's average reported that the request was fulfilled, whereas 6% reported that they were only sometimes provided with the requested document or service. Higher percentages of Vučitrn residents compared to Kosovo's averages said that the public administration was efficient or very efficient in issuing all of the following documents: passports, ID cards, vehicle registration documents, driver's licenses, building permits, business licenses, marriage, birth, and death certificates, and social assistance cards. Satisfaction with local authorities. KMS 2012 data showed that the share of Vučitrn residents who were satisfied with the work of the mayor, municipal assembly, and municipal administration was lower than Kosovo's average. 67% of Vučitrn residents compared to 69% of Albanians on average were satisfied with the work of the mayor, 49% compared to 63% of Albanians with the work of the municipal assembly, and 45% compared to 64% of Albanians with the work of the municipal administration. A relatively high share of Vučitrn residents believed that the local authorities had the capacity to solve the problems in the municipality. The share of those who believed that only the central government can solve these problems was equal to Kosovo's average of 15%. Satisfaction with public services. The satisfaction level of Vučitrn's residents with local authorities was slightly higher than Kosovo's average, while the satisfaction level was significantly lower for most of the public goods and services. The residents of Vučitrn were more satisfied with public procurement and tenders, protection of cultural heritage, nature and species conservation, management of public spaces, public parking and sidewalks compared to Kosovo's averages. The residents of Vučitrn were mostly satisfied with access to and quality of education in preschools, primary schools and secondary schools, emergency services, and Kosovo police. The lowest satisfaction level was recorded for electricity supply, the supply of medicines and medical supplies in hospitals and family medical centers, and cultural, youth and sports activities. Economy. Vučitrn is a city with sustainable economic development, thanks to good quality arable land that offers favorable conditions for cultivating many agricultural crops. Vučitrn is the leader in the growing of potatoes in Kosovo. In Vučitrn there are 2,641 registered businesses. Based on official data from the Ministry of Trade and Industry, 45.36% of businesses are engaged in commerce, 19% in transportation and telecommunication, 9% in offering services like hotels and restaurants. Retail activity is concentrated mainly in the city centre on the roads Vushtrri and Skenderaj, while major markets are scattered on the outskirts of town. On the Vučitrn-Pristina highway, hotels, bars, and fast food restaurants are mainly concentrated in the center of the city, principally in the Vushtrri and Vushtrri states. With the drafting of the municipal development plan, both sides of the highway are designated as places where businesses can be developed at a distance of 100 meters. There are also plans to construct an industrial area in a place called Lumad, in an area of 14.9 hectares where €1.6 million will be invested along with donors to complete infrastructure for the area, which will help to improve conditions for business activities, especially manufacturing. Business zones. The Vučitrn Municipal Assembly, during its session on March 27, 2008, decided to create an industrial zone of common interest in the zones of Banjski, Tarac, Bukosh and Grace. Trax, pasture land, surface area of 04.84.18 hectares. Bukosh, pasture land, surface area of 17.98.87 hectares. Grace, arable land, at the site called Vučtrri, total surface area of 24.48.70 hectares. Banjska, surface area of 76.86.60 hectares and the rest total area is 10.65.88 hectares. The Vučitrn Municipal Assembly is also in the process of taking a decision to create a business zone in the village of Lumad. While the land quality is poor, the surface area is estimated at 14.86 hectares and is owned by the municipality. The designated site for the business park is Lumad Vučitrn. The project was developed and submitted to the Ministry of Trade and Industry. The municipality of Vučitrn lies between two regional centers, Pristina and Mitrovica. This enables access to these two big markets. According to the municipality's official data, the number of employed people in specific sectors is. This data only includes administration employees, while other public institutions, households, hospitals, schools, police, prison, etc., are not included. The total number of employed people in Vučitrn is approximately 16,000. Major employers in Vučitrn include Vip's potato products, Berto furniture manufacturing, Amona market shopping center, Bini door and windows manufacturing etc. etc. shopping center, Agrovini potato producer, exporter and machinery sales. Standard production of glue and paints etc. Albed furniture manufacturing, Molitoria flour mill, Larmacos metal sheets manufacturing, Kotex underwear manufacturing, Ariani construction, Zaraki Dejari construction company, Preteni doors and windows manufacturing. Agriculture. One of the main economic activities in Vučitrn is agriculture. The most cultivated crops are potato, wheat, corn, vegetables and forage crops. In recent years orchards with apples, plums, and pears are expanding more and more. Vučitrn is the biggest producer of potatoes in Kosovo. Tradition, high-quality seeds imported from the Netherlands, advanced technology and water system from the Obilić company are the main factors that Vučitrn's farmers keep achieving high potato yields, nearly reaching the average European level. In 2013, 1,300 hectares of plants were cultivated with potatoes, with an average of 30 tons per hectare. This means over 39,000 tons of potatoes were produced in 2013. The best farmers of the city produced up to 60 tons per hectare and in some cases even more. The biggest potato cultivation companies are Podujeva Agrovini and Unicorsom. Podujeva as a private company was established in 1991 and was re-registered in 1999. Since January 2008, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development has been a co-shareholder in Podujeva. Podujeva's business activities are the import, production and sale of seed potato, the same of agricultural machinery, the production and sale of fresh potatoes, potato processing into chips and other products such as fries and other snacks. The European Commission has supported Podujeva since 2001. USAID and the Kingdom of the Netherlands have given the support as well since 2003 and 2008 respectively. Farmers of this area are also well known for livestock production including cattle, sheep, poultry, etc. The municipality of Vučitrn possesses nearly 600 hectares of arable land, meadows and pastures as public property. There are 16,954 hectares of arable land and 13,664 hectares of forests in the territory of Vučitrn. Agribusiness in the city is developed generally by the private sector. Investments. Vučitrn continues to be financed mostly by government funding, which will be approximately 87% of the total budget of the municipality in the next 3 years. The government grant dedicated to municipality of Vučitrn was increased by 21% from 2013 to 2014. It is predicted that this grant will be raised by 3.5% each year in the coming years. The education grant for 2014 is decreased by 2.66% comparing to the past year, while the health grant for 2014 is planned to be over €1,500,000. The municipality's local revenues decreased from 2011 to 2012. The annual decrease rate was 7.18%. According to the development plan, during 2014 to 2016 it is expected that own source revenues will increase by approximately 3.66%. Capital Investments Plan. Vučitrn finished its so-called emergency phase investment program, starting a new program of investment for development. Past investments during the post-war period have enhanced the quality of life for citizens and built infrastructure necessarily for creating a favorable business environment. In the last 4 years, 186,547 meters of roads were asphalted, 77 roads, covering a distance of 21,733 meters, were paved, a sewage network of 40,389 meters and a water network of 86,414 meters were also constructed. Further, 22 bridges were built, 75 school buildings were built or renovated, 29 medical clinics and many other investment projects were implemented. Over the past few years, 600 capital investment projects worth more than €50 million were implemented. The municipality has planned significant amounts of money to spend in capital investments in the next years. These investments investments will take place in building intermunicipal roads, water supply and sanitation infrastructure. The Vučitrn has 303.45 kilometers of roads, of which nearly 90% are asphalted. Of the 11.866 households, 8,846 of them have access to sanitation infrastructure. In the period from 2014 to 2016, building of 4 new schools was planned, along with the reconstruction of old schools. Well-being of households. Data from 2012 showed that the percentage of households of Vučitrn that could not afford basic goods and services was lower than Kosovo's average, whereas 20% of all Kosovan residents could not afford a meal with meat once per week. The same was true of 15% of Vučitrn residents, 30% compared to Kosovo's average of 42% could not afford to pay for public utilities, 24% compared to Kosovo's average of 34% were unable to cover the expenses of treating flu or any other minor illness, 37% compared to Kosovo's average of 49%, could not afford to buy new clothes and footwear whenever necessary, 67% compared to Kosovo's average of 71%, could not afford to go to a restaurant once a month, and 74% compared to Kosovo's average of 76% could not afford to pay for a week's holiday away from home once a year. A similar percentage to Kosovo's average could not afford to invite family or friends for a meal at least once a month. Employment and unemployment rate. Similar to the rest of the municipalities in Kosovo, unemployment was considered to be the biggest problem in Vučitrn by 47% of its residents. Poor water supply is ranked the biggest problem by 17% and poor electricity supply by 13%. The proportion of employed adults in Vučitrn was equal to Kosovo's average, while the percentage of unemployed was 22%. The share of those who are outside the labor market, as they were either unemployed and not looking for work, were studying, disabled, or housewives, or had retired, was slightly higher than Kosovo's average of 45%. The majority of adult women residing in Vučitrn were outside the labor market. The equivalent figure for men was 29%. 11% of women were in employment, compared to 42% of men.